Hi, I'm Morgan, and I have an eating disorder. I've had an eating disorder for, it's going on 6 years now, and it has more or less shaped my entire adult life. I'm not trying to inspire anyone, I'm not trying to motivate anyone. I had someone that I admired or someone that I knew talk about their eating disorder, that would have helped me monumentally. My eating disorder started my senior year of high school. I had read about bulimia and I had studied anorexia. I just want to see what this is like. More in the fact of I didn't think it was a disorder that actually was addiction. When I was in college, a lot of my close friends knew about my eating disorder, but no one really offered me substantial help. And I'm not saying that these people didn't care about me. I feel that I had given this illusion that it wasn't controlling my entire life, even though it was. When you have an eating disorder, when you have an addiction, you can learn to disguise so many of your symptoms or betray people's trust. I know how to disguise if I haven't eaten. I know how to disguise if I have eaten. I know how to make a quick trip to the bathroom look normal when really I just empty out my entire body. When it started out, I wasn't concerned about my weight to get to a certain number. It was more of just this perception I had of myself in my brain. So New Year's of 2018, I decided to start working out in an attempt to lose some weight. Not a bunch, just something to get down to this goal idea I had, because I knew I had put some weight on in the fall. Come summer, I was living my life, I was working out, I was living at home with my father before I moved into my first apartment. That was the most catastrophic, destructive part of my life. I lived with a person who mentally and emotionally abused me every day. It got to the point where I would be scared to go home. This person has since apologized to me and owned up to their actions. I genuinely thought about killing myself every other day. Trigger warning, I'm going to talk about some of my symptoms because I feel like as hard as it is for me to talk about it, people who are going through what I have gone through need some form of validation, and people who aren't experiencing or haven't experienced what I experienced need to know the signs. At this point, my eating disorder had morphed and changed from traditional bulimia to anorexia, where I would work out for hours and hours and hours a day, and I'd restrict my food intake. I would induce sleep just to skip meals. I would not give a definite answer sometimes about what I had been doing or where I had been, lie about how long I had worked out or what I did while working out. I hardly ate around other people. I had to be in absolute control of whatever I was eating. I didn't let people cook for me. If someone was to cook for me, I wouldn't let myself eat all day beforehand or all day after. I was so exhausted, even walking from my apartment to my building that I worked at, maybe 200 yards, would exhaust me. It got to a point where I would look in a mirror and I would not recognize my reflection. I lost sight of who I was. Don't you love when your camera dies and you don't even realize it? So I had a consultation for rehab, and I went. On the day of my consultation, I came back and told my abusive roommate about it. They asked me my weight, and I told them, and they told me someone of my height and weight can't have that severe of an eating disorder. An eating disorder does not have a look. It doesn't have any kind of defining, definitive factors to it. When I was in treatment, people of all different shapes, sizes, ages were there. There were people as old as 62, and there were kids as young as 9. That was the most terrifying, excruciating, but liberating and dignifying point of my life. I met so many people who knew and understood what I was going through and actually would listen to me and could offer me help and I could depend on. My partner and I had been together for 3 months when I was first going into rehab. It's a lot to process. I feel like he did a great job supporting me, listening to me, and helping me, but that is a lot to go through with someone you just met, someone who you don't even know or have a history with, too, about a disease that he didn't know hardly anything about. After being in treatment for 2 months, I was released and I was still alive. I went back to school and I graduated. My best friend and my partner and I moved to a new city together, and I've just had endless support and love from my close friends. However, I feel that now of all times, I have to share my story. With this pandemic, I have relapsed severely. I am so petrified of losing myself and losing two of the most important people in my life. And I sat down and decided I need to share my story. I need to talk about this, because to have just one person be impacted by my story, that's miles beyond what I have gotten in the 4 years it took me to go seek professional help. I was alone and I was scared. As hard as this relapse is, I still am trying my best to make a difference, including telling people that it does get better. And if you don't have any kind of disordered eating, if you think someone might, you need to have the courage to approach them about it, because it is beyond terrifying to make that first step. I don't really have anything else to say except I'm thankful that I'm alive. And it's thanks to having such supportive and loving people in my life that I'm here. So